Hi, and welcome back to our podcast, Best Friends and Their Books. I'm Tracy here with my co-host and best friend.
Shelby.
We're so excited to talk to you today about all things bookish, as well as our book of the month, which is Expiration Dates by Rebecca Serle. How do you say that?
Serle, I don't know.
Serle. Okay. So let's jump in.
All right. So as always, we're going to start out with discussing what books we've read since our last episodes. What have you read recently?
I feel like I've kind of maybe been in a rut. I don't know. I haven't read that much since we last talked. But I did get a advanced reader copy of some very strange. The synopsis sounded like so intriguing to me. It was kind of about like a sleepwalker and like she wasn't remembering what she was doing in her sleep. So I was like intrigued by that. It's called The Night Guest by Hildur, and it's an like Icelandic last name, so I'm gonna butcher it, but it's like Kustadori. Um, I posted about it on our account as a reel, but it was super interesting. It was like a really quick read. It only took me about an hour, but there were so many chapters that were only like of one sentence or like a few
Oh
words.
yeah, I remember
It
that
was
one
just like,
too.
yeah, that was pretty strange. I think that the concept, like, I still agree the synopsis like had potential to be a great book, but I don't know. As I was reading it, wasn't that thrilling.
Yeah.
And then I listened to Bye Bye Baby by Carola Loving.
Oh, I want to read that.
Yeah, it was pretty. I can't wait for you to read it because I like really need someone to discuss the ending with because
Yeah. I had thought about asking if you wanted to do that as our book of the month for April, but
yeah, I
you
mean,
decided so.
I'm down to do like a side.
I feel like I decided like January, February, and March. So I was like, let me make sure that Tracy puts some books out there. That's why I didn't even bring
Yeah,
it up.
well, I did. I picked it to read this month. And like I can't wait to we next month we'll discuss. Maybe you can read it and then we'll discuss it like on the side because I think it was a good discussion book for sure.
Really?
Yeah. And it's
Okay.
like it's about two childhood friends. So maybe I don't know.
I saw that and I was like, that would have been like perfect.
Maybe soon.
Yeah.
What did you read this month?
So I guess I'm in a rut too. I don't know. I don't really feel like I'm in a rut. I just really didn't make time to read. But all I did was finish the book Vladimir, that I had started on our last episode.
Mhm.
Um, it did take me a while to finish it. The middle kind of lulled, but the beginning and the end were both interesting. It was an okay book. Not for everyone. Uh, but
Why is that?
I think like the main character, well, she's the narrator, and I think a lot of people could find her very frustrating to read. I don't know. I just feel like it was kind of more of a strange type of book, but I like strange books. So
Yeah. Was it as spicy as the cover?
no,
No. Okay.
like not really at all, to be honest.
That's so weird. What was the marketing team doing when they selected the cover then?
Yeah, honestly, I don't really know. I mean, like there were like spicy parts, but nothing like no like pearl clutching, you know.
Yeah. Mm.
um And then the only other thing I read was our book of the month, Expiration Dates.
Awesome. Well, that being said, I can jump into the synopsis for Expiration Dates. We're really excited about this one because it is like a debut this month, so that
Mm-hmm.
was great. Being single is like playing the lottery. There's always the chance that with one piece of paper you can win it all. From the New York Times bestselling author In 5 Years and One Italian Summer comes a romance that will define a generation. Daphne Bell believes the universe has a plan for her. Every time she meets a new man, she receives a slip of paper with his name and number on it, the exact amount of time they will be together. The paper told her that she'd spend 3 days with Martin in Paris, 5 weeks with Noah in San Francisco, and 3 months with Hugo, her ex-boyfriend turned best friend. Daphne has been receiving the numbered papers for over 20 years and has always wondered where there might be one without an expiration. Finally, the night of a blind date with at her favorite Los Angeles restaurant, there's only one. There's only a Jake. But as Jake and Daphne's story unfolds, Daphne finds herself doubting the paper's prediction and wrestling with what it means to be both committed and truthful. Because Daphne knows things Jake doesn't, information that if he found out would break his heart. Told with her signature warmth and insight into matters of the heart, Rebecca Serle has finally set her sights on romantic love. The result is a gripping, emotional, passionate, and yes, heartbreaking novel about what it means to be single and what it means to find love and ultimately how we defined each of them for ourselves. Expiration Date is ones the fans have been waiting for.
We sure were. Our girl, Rebecca Serle with the magical realism. Is that what it's called?
It says like the romance that will define a generation. I feel like
No,
that's
I mean like when they like include magic, but like I
yeah.
guess like
Yeah.
because you know how like with the one Italian summer it was like I think it was time travel.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah.
Hmm.
I feel like she's like very into that for her books.
For sure. There's definitely a theme, but I think that like just the to define a generation, that's like a really big
That's a big shoe to fill.
I know, like I'm like,
And I liked the book, but it like
what?
mm, I wouldn't say it was that. Like
I wouldn't even really classify it as like a huge like romance book. Like I would it wasn't like that like romancy to
I
me.
don't even think it defined my year or my month. Well, I mean, considering it was one of the only books I read, I guess it couldn't define my month. But
That yeah.
and I'm not being a hater. I liked the book, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying to define a generation, it was
That's like a really big
that's a big deal.
yeah, I'm trying to think of the word. That's like a really big prediction of this book that
Yeah. Okay, so we are gonna hop into the questions for this book. I got them from a website called Book Club Chat. The first one goes, what are your overall thoughts about Daphne as a protagonist? Did you find her relatable?
mm. I don't know. Like she kind of just was middle of the road for me. Like I didn't really like her. I didn't really not like her. She just like was there.
I liked her as a main character. I don't necessarily know that she was relatable, but
Yeah.
I don't think she didn't do anything that made me feel like, oh, I hate this character. Like, you know, like she was just like I could be friends with her, I think.
Yeah. She was pretty like mediocre.
Yeah, but nothing like I said about the book in general, like nothing was like there's nothing like pizzazzy, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Keyword pizzazzy.
Pizzazzy.
For more than 20 years, Daphne has received a sheet of paper with her dating partner's name and a date. The date is the exact time they'll be together. Daphne never really questioned it much and just went along with the flow. How would you have reacted if you received something similar? Would you follow the expiration dates too, or would you try to make your own decisions?
I think that's like what I found so weird about her. It's because like, okay, first off, if you got this paper with the expiration date, wouldn't you like question it? Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Where did this come from? Who did this like magic isn't real? And so unless you're living in La La Land, like you would like have some sort of like question for this. And I do,
Yeah.
it's like especially the first one, wouldn't you not think someone was like playing a joke on you?
Yeah. I mean, for me, I feel like I tend to be kind of like rule follower type of person. But I still don't think I would base my entire like life and like love life off of these like notes, especially because like at the end of the book, I do feel like I was still wondering, I'm like, where did these notes come from? That needed to be answered, and that didn't get answered, did it?
Yeah. No, but that's kind of a common thread for like Rebecca Searle.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's like holes in most of these like magical elements of her books.
That's a really big hole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like I wanted to know, like, maybe she had like, I don't know, maybe somewhere in the future, blah blah blah, like someone that she knew, like maybe like a grandparent or like
Mhm.
someone was like sending her these messages from like heaven or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I I
Yeah.
just like want to know where they came from or where she even thought they came from.
Yeah. Like what was her idea?
I don't know because you could say like, oh, it's the universe, but no, these are like physical pieces of paper with handwriting
Mhm.
on them. Someone has to be doing this. This does not pop out of thin air.
Yeah.
So like as much as I follow the rules, I'm also like kind of I guess like a little bit more I don't
Yeah.
know, like this isn't real, so I'm not gonna like pay attention to it. I would
Yeah.
think they were funny and I would save them like she did.
Yeah.
But I don't think I could base my whole like love life
blindly
around.
just like go along with them.
Yeah.
I'm like the opposite too. I'm like not a rule follower at all. So I would be like, yeah, you're gonna tell me what to do? Like, no, thank you. I would have
Yeah,
just
you're gonna make like the
laughed.
5-day one last like 5 years.
Yeah, like I'm like, this is not
You're like, I'll show that piece of paper.
unless I had like a like someone from the future was coming back and like if I from the future was coming back and giving me these and I realized that, then oh yeah, I'm gonna listen to her or whatever.
Yeah.
This is advice I should take.
Or it could have like to even go into like the magical part, like since she had
Yeah.
like a health condition, like she never really knew like how long she was really gonna live. Like maybe it could have been like her future,
In
like
heaven.
ghost,
Yep.
like
Maybe.
giving it to her, like or like I don't know, just to like go along with like the magic part of
Yeah.
the book.
To like help her find the love of her life like quicker so that way she would get
She
to
can
like
spend the most time.
yeah. See, that would have been such a good element of this book.
Yeah. I don't know.
That was a problem I
Rebecca,
had.
call us next time.
Yeah, like
um, all right. This book covers fate and choices. What is your perspective on fate versus choices?
I probably have like a weird opinion. Not a it's not weird by any means, but like I have like a definitely like a faith-based opinion on this where I feel like yes, I'm making my own choices, but my choices have already been made for me.
Hmm.
Like I feel like God's plan. So I feel like yes, I'm like making my own choices, but it is what it is and it is what it will be. And what's meant to be will
Yeah.
be. Like I don't know. Like I'm not like I don't know. I don't think too much about my choices because I feel like I'm led in the direction I'm going, supposed to go.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely believe in both. Like, I don't know if that's a answer, but I do believe fate and like things happen for a reason. But in the same way, it's like you've made choices like along the way to kind of fall into those
Yeah.
fates. I don't know. I like I think about it all the time. Like if I didn't go to Towson, I would never have met Josh. I never would have Vivian, like my baby. Like, like that was a choice that I went to Towson and I made friends there that then introduced me to Josh.
Yeah.
And then we dated. Like, I don't know. I don't know if that's a choice or if that's fate.
I know. See, like then in my mind,
It's
like
like,
that's already like the plan that's been set for you. So like you think that you have like that choice, but like you did obviously make that choice, yes. But like I believe that like that was already decided for you, and that was your like.
yeah.
I mean, fate.
But
I
I was
wouldn't
supposed
say,
to go
but
to a different school. Remember, I was supposed to go to school with
yeah,
you in Texas. And
yeah.
like, so was it fate that I like
Mhm.
my student
Big
loan like
no.
didn't fall through or what, or my student loan fell through or whatever at like the last second and I had to stay home? Like, was that fate? I guess that was kind of
Yeah,
fate because that was not my choice. Like,
yeah.
I had no money.
Yeah. No, I do believe that like it's all already decided for you.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely like a mixture of
Yeah. I feel
both.
like we have to like have like choices to make even though they're already decided. Like we have to have choices to make in order to feel like we are like our own divine humans.
Yeah,
Although like we are we really making those choices? I don't really believe that we are necessarily. Like we there is free will, but I don't know, it's like something I do think about like pretty frequently.
yeah, I do too.
Because like my husband, like he went to Japan and then he came back to Texas. Like, was that fate? I don't know. Like, that we ended up being in the
Or
same
was it the
city.
military making
It
choices
was
for
a
him?
good choice. Yeah. I mean, it was kind of like I believe it was like fate. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Um, what is your impression of the dynamic between Daphne and Hugo? Why did they stay close after they broke up?
Well, I think that Hugo like always loved her. Like, I feel like he might not have been ready for her. As like I was like trying to put myself in his position throughout this book because it's like if I was dating someone fairly like recent and they told me that there was like a life like threatening illness that they had, like how would and they're not like dying the next day, but like I don't know, like how would you handle that? Like would you want to put yourself through that knowing you could lose your partner really young? And if you want a family, like is that like something you're willing to risk?
I guess it would just depend on how much you did love that person.
Yeah. So I think he wasn't ready to make that decision yet, but he wasn't like
Hmm.
ready to let her go.
Yeah.
She felt the
When
same way, like she loved him so much she would have like clung on to anything he would give her.
Yeah, I kind of feel like when I was reading the beginning of the book and I was like, why is like this one ex the only one that's like kind of like coming up all the time?
Mm.
So I did feel like they somehow it was going to be them two at the end, even though I didn't really see how, because I didn't honestly at first I thought he was gonna like they stopped I thought they were gonna stop dating because he was gonna be like the gay best friend or something. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't really like sure, but I was like, I know he's like staying in her life. Which is like the way that this book is laid out was strange because none of the other people that had like expiration dates on the note stayed in
Yeah.
her life after they broke up. Like they didn't even like remain friends really.
Yeah.
But I actually felt that in the beginning, I thought she liked him more than a friend than he liked her. And then towards the end of the book, we realized that like he's actually had feelings for her like the whole time and everything.
Yeah. I just had feelings he liked her because him sticking around too. Like I just figured like if he didn't have feelings for her, he wouldn't have stuck around. But I do feel like you said about the way the book was written, I did feel like the skipping back and forth to like ex past relationships, that was confusing for me. I don't know
Yeah.
why, if I just had like difficulties, but like I was like lost in the timeline sometimes.
I do wish the chapters had like when it was like talking about like a particular ex, I wish it had like a year, or if it was like 7 years ago, like there
Yes.
was like a timeline, because sometimes it would jump around and it got a little bit confusing. Um
Okay. I'm glad it wasn't me because like, am I missing something here? But I'd be like, where are we? And like, had to
I
wait for
kept going back
compass.
and checking and I was like, no, it's like not. It's not gonna tell me.
Oh, it's confusing.
Um Daphne receives this Daphne receives the seemingly fateful paper about her blind date Jake. There's no expiration date. Suddenly Daphne realizes she is with the one. How did this impact how she approached her relationship with Jake?
Honestly, this makes me like so sad because she thought he was the one.
Yeah.
To like feel like that, knowing you may be on this timeline, right? You don't know when your life is going to end. So you're already like feeling the pressure of that, and then you're like forcing this relationship. It's just like not fair to anybody. I just felt so sad.
Yeah. I feel like she would have wrote off even any like red flags, pink flags, whatever kind of flag that Jake showed her, which
Mhm.
luckily he really didn't have any. Like he seemed like a great guy. But I think she would have wrote off like anything because she knew that she was like, oh well, like I'm
He's the
supposed to stay with him.
one.
Like this is my fate.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I think that definitely like was how that impacted how she approached her relationship with him. She just would kind of wouldn't have really cared about any of
Yeah.
his like bad qualities.
Yeah, and that like also makes me question like, okay, so let's say you got like a letter saying that someone's the one, and then it's because like you're supposed to have children with them or something, you know?
Hmm.
And then it's like, would you want to like alter that in any means? Like if that he was the one simply because like the person that's like watching her, sending her these letters is like, you need to stay with them because you end up having like these children or something along those lines. Like, could you imagine like that being altered? Like, I don't know, that's like kind of crazy. Like, would you want that to have the children that you have? Like, I don't know, that's like crazy to me. Like maybe like it's there was like a I mean, I know like that wasn't from the divine person, the timeline for Jake. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
actually the magic, but it's like I don't know, going along with these, is it because like is there like a purpose behind it greater than like what she sees?
Yeah.
Or greater than how she feels?
I don't know. Did it say in the end of the book, when we find out that Hugo like wrote it,
Yeah.
did it ever say that there was an original
Yeah.
note? Did he
Yeah.
just erase it, or did he just like write a new one?
He wrote a new one.
But did we know how long it was supposed to be?
Like
Did it
five
say?
weeks. Five.
Was it 5? I think it was 5 weeks. I think you're right.
Yeah, it was like very short.
Oh, and then she was like wondering, like she was like, what happened like around like 5 weeks or whatever in a relationship. Never mind.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But I mean, like, I don't know, these notes are like, it's just like crazy to think, like, I don't know. Why the
Yeah.
purpose of like, why.
We eventually learn that Daphne is also carrying another huge secret. She has a very serious heart condition that has impacted her daily life. She's not able to do physical activity, most likely can't carry a baby, and her long-term quality of life is in question. How did her heart condition impact how she approached both dating and life in general?
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of why Jake I feel like that was really unfortunate, like, that Jake ended up that Hugo forged that for Jake, because Jake had
I know.
already, like,
Of
been a
all the
widow.
people.
Yeah, and so I feel like that was, like, so unfair to him for her like, I mean, in any
Like,
relationship.
Hugo didn't know that though, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
still, that's
Hugo
really
didn't know that, but
unfortunate.
it's, like, really like, I don't know. That's, like, so unfortunate because I feel like if I would've met someone and I knowing I was, like, terminal, I mean, heart disease is, like, terminal in its own way, so, like, knowing that and then if I would've met a widow, I'd been like, "Shh, I'm not gonna put you through this again." You know,
Yeah.
you deserve your
I
happy ever after.
I think that's why she, like, had such a hard time with deciding on when to tell him,
Yeah.
because when it was, like, dropped in the book that she had a heart condition,
Mhm.
but she, like, kept it secret with all of her relationships, I kinda was like, "Well, why?" Like, I
Yeah,
don't understand why it needs to be so secretive. It I mean, I know it was, like, part of the plot, like,
yeah,
that she just had, like, this thing to tell people, but and, like, the only people that know is, like, her boss and, like, one other person and her parents.
yeah.
But in my head, I was like, I don't know, like, I felt like she was, like, really close to, like, some of her boyfriends, and what if, like, she started not feeling well and
Yeah. They
but
didn't know
also
what.
okay, so she had her medications
Mhm.
out at Hugo's house, and, like, she told him that it was, I think she said for, like, mental health or something was, like, the
Yeah.
but did he not, like, Google the names of the medications?
I
Or
mean,
am I nosy? Like, because that's
if
what
I
I would do.
really?
If my partner was taking a medication and I didn't know what it was, I would Google it.
Oh, I would be trusting enough of, like, them to tell me. I don't know, I wouldn't, like, feel the need to, like I would just trust what they told me, I think.
I mean, I would trust them, but, like, I would look up, like, just information about it. Like, I don't know, I Google stuff all the time. Like, I just, like I don't know how he never decided to look up her
I
medicine.
I don't think I definitely
I
wouldn't.
would've.
No. I don't know, I would just be like, "Oh, good for you." Like, it's, like also, like I mean, maybe if it was, like, my husband and I feel like we're making the decision together, but, like, if it was, like, someone else's, like, body, their, like, medicine, like, I would've just been like, "Good."
But,
Like,
like, you're dating the person. It's not like you're just, like, going to someone's house and you're like, "Hmm, what do they got in
I
their coat
mean,
cabinet? Let me Google this."
I know they weren't, like, dating, like, that long. Like, I would've just been like, "Oh." I don't know. I wouldn't have, like, thought about it.
Nosy girl, I guess.
I know I'm not no I don't I have way too much like, on my mind. I have, like I wouldn't yeah.
Like, wouldn't you wanna know, like, the symptoms and stuff like that?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think so. I mean,
What if
I
it makes
already,
them, like,
like
really thirsty or really tired or, like
I would trust them to tell me that. I'd be
they
like,
would,
"How does that
but
make you feel?" I don't know, like, I wouldn't, like
I would too, but, like, at the same I don't know, I just like to know these things, like,
yeah,
how certain medicines, like, will affect people, and I
yeah.
don't know. I think
Probably
I'd be
would've
nosy enough to check out
I probably
what it
would have
is.
already known the medications because my, like, favorite cat in the whole world had heart failure, and so I gave him medicine, so I probably, like, would have honestly already like, in my instance, like, if I would have known.
And what
Um,
if Hugo already would have been like that? What if he was like, "Oh, I know this isn't for, like, mental health stuff, I know it's for your heart." Would have changed things.
yeah.
Um, how did her heart condition impact how she I don't know if I really feel like I fully
Answered.
answered
I
that.
know, I was just thinking, like, I think it changed her, like, in a way, like, yeah, she was more standoffish. She didn't wanna tell them things about her. She was secretive, which I think
Yeah,
anything's, like, kind of, like, hurts relationships when you are secretive. Even if it's about something, like, minor, like, if you're keeping
yeah.
secrets, then it's, like,
Because
off
then how do you decide, like, when to
yeah,
say it? Like, and then the person would be like, "Well, why didn't you think you could tell me?" Like, it's just, like,
yeah,
back and forthness. I don't know, I'm like I I have asthma, I know it's, like, not terminal or anything, but I'm, like, trying to think about, like, when, like, I told Josh that I, like, had asthma. I think we went, like, hiking on, like, our first date too,
Mhm.
So I probably just like let him know that. I don't know. To me, like I guess stuff like that. I mean, obviously it's not like a terminal heart condition, but I don't know if I would be as secretive as she was.
I don't know, it's like, do you like I mean, she's already had these failed relationships, like, does she want them to see her for her before they see her as, like,
Yeah.
terminally ill person?
And I think that keeps her in control of like the timeline too, because it doesn't like they don't eliminate themselves like right off the bat, basically. Like they don't leave her right off the bat, and it like gives her more proof that the relationships will last like the certain amount of time on that note that it's supposed to. I think maybe if she thought that they were there before. We have a visitor.
Hey, we're recording a podcast, so can you go real quick? Yeah. Oliver, go. Love you. Okay, so sorry about that intermission. Close the door, please. Um, yeah, I can see why she, like, wants to keep it a secret, but then it's
Hmm.
like, yeah, when it's ever there's never gonna be a right time to deal with
Yeah.
this, and you're never gonna know how that person's gonna react.
Hmm.
Because at first I'd be like, "Oh, it's okay, I love you," you know? I would be like that for too. Like, of course, like I love you
Yeah.
no matter what. But then if I actually had to step back and like ponder in that decision, it's like how I see my life.
Hmm.
Do I want to go through this heartbreak now, or would I rather like, is this person worth the heartbreak later?
Yeah.
That's like a really hard concept
And
to.
it gives them more time to think about it too.
Yeah, that's true. Because if you kind of just tell them like off the bat, it's like no harm, no foul for either of you. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to like any. There's no like love there yet.
Yeah. All right, the next question says, "Why do you think she kept the heart condition a secret for so long?" Which I feel like we like kind of literally
Yeah,
just answered.
yeah,
So I'm gonna move on to the next one. That's okay.
yeah, of course.
Hugo is the one she can't see life without. But since she was only supposed to date him for a couple months, she has to break up with him, which is heart wrenching for both. And she ends up telling him both about her heart condition as well as the expiration date papers. Let's talk about the significance of Daphne's reveals to Hugo.
Okay, the significance of it.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know.
I feel like I'm like surprised that like he was the one that found out both, I guess. Like
Yeah.
he's the only person throughout this whole thing, like even well, I guess Jake knows about the heart thing, but like he's the only person in the whole book that knows about the expiration dates.
Yeah. Which is weird. I think that especially with like the first one, I would have been like, "Hey, I got this weird note. Do you know anything about this?" Like I would
Yeah.
have told at least like some other person about that.
Yeah.
I'm also not a secret keeper. Like I'm a very open book, so like I would be telling everybody. Like I got these notes. Like this is weird. Would you know
But you
anything
gotta know
about
that
this?
other people are getting them too.
Yeah. Like is this normal? I don't understand. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know like really the reasoning of like why she told Hugo.
I don't know either. Wait, did he find out by like accident? Like how did he find out? I don't know if did it really like go over that?
Did it? Because I can't remember.
I don't remember that part either. Like did he like find out kind of like just stumbling upon it or did she tell him?
Shoot, why can't I remember that? But that
I
should
can't
be
remember.
like a really big moment in the book if he found out.
Yeah. Or like how he found out.
I think she told him.
I think she did too.
I think
I
she
don't know,
was
maybe
like,
he didn't really say.
yeah, this is like a what was it? A 5 month. I don't remember how long their thing was, but it was pretty short in the scheme of things.
Yeah, there was 5 months.
5 months. So like she like, oh, it's gonna end. Because she like ended up ending things knowing she didn't like in a couple instances, she didn't let it like organically end. She like ended it knowing it was gonna end.
Yeah.
So I feel like she kind of did that with Hugo in my mind, but I can't really remember.
She ended it even though I don't feel like she wanted to. She just did it
Yeah.
because the notes control her life.
Yeah.
Um, did you feel that her and Jake were a good fit? Why or why not?
I didn't. Like I said before, like he already went through the heartbreak of losing a wife. Like I just thought it was like so unfair to put like another sick person in his life.
But we didn't find out that she had the heart condition until like 60 or 65% of the way through. Like they had already had like full blown like
Yeah, that's
been
true.
like dating throughout the book. So did you before you knew as the reader about her heart condition, did you think
I don't know why.
like
Like Jake
question?
seemed like such a great person. Like he seemed like he was perfect. Like there was really no like you said, there's no red flags, pink flags, beige flags, like nothing. Like he seemed like really good for her, but like it didn't seem like love. It seemed so forced to me.
Yeah, I agree. There was nothing wrong with him, but like it just felt like it was like 90% like it was like a great thing, but like I it just seemed good. I don't know. It
Yeah.
but it wasn't like convincing.
Yeah.
There was nothing about their relationship that convinced me like, "Oh my gosh, these 2 are so in love." Like
Yeah.
he is the one. Like there is a reason why this man has like no expiration date on this note. I so which is why I kind of feel like I was always thinking that her and Hugo would get together at some point in the book,
Yeah.
you know? Because I was like, I feel like they're making him seem like a good guy. Like, we're gonna be
Yeah.
sad that she doesn't end up with Jake, but like there's nothing really like super, super special about him.
Yeah. And then even when like
Their relationship.
Jake and her went to meet Hugo, and Jake was like, I feel so bad because clearly he's like in love with you.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my god, I was like so pissed at Hugo during that. I was like, way to be like a butthead like the whole time.
But
I'm just thinking about like if I was Daphne, I would like be pooping myself.
yeah, but like it's also kind of like I don't know, it's kind of like romantic to know that like
But like
someone's
he's
acting a
putting
fool
like
because of
Daphne in that
you.
situation.
Like I know. I don't know.
And like why couldn't he have done that like several years? I mean, I guess because he knew that she followed her notes so religiously, like
Yeah.
he didn't stand a chance unless he did something about it himself.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Hugo admits that he in fact wrote the note about Jake because he wanted her to finally experience life without any limitations. How did this change everything for Daphne?
I think I would feel like, I mean, she's religiously went after these notes for a decade now. And then all of a sudden your world gets flipped upside down because of that. And you're like, I not only wasted so much time, but now like I don't trust you. I don't trust like my what I thought I had with Jake. Like her like I feel so bad for Daphne in that instance.
I did too because like on the one hand he lied to her and
Mhm.
that's kind of like a big deal as well even though they end up being together after a while. And I know he did it for good, so is like lying for good okay? Like this is like an age old question.
I think like someone says, "Hey, do you like my shirt?" Okay, yes, I like it, even though I don't. That's like not a harmful lie. You
No.
cannot lie for good. Like that significantly alters someone's life.
Yeah.
Like I think an innocent lie here and there is okay, but
Mhm.
not like a life altering. Like if it's gonna like affect someone long term in any way, that's not okay.
Yeah. But I know it ended up good in the end. So
Did.
because he really like let her just kind of like relax and see if she was like, really gonna fall in love with the Jake guy.
Yeah, but why not write a note for yourself? Say,
True.
Hugo.
Like a second time. Then
Yes.
she'd be really confused. That'd be a good one though.
I mean, it happens all the time. People get back together
I
all
mean,
the time.
they hung out all the time, so like, why
Yes.
not?
Yeah. Just write it for yourself and then let her fall in love with you like you want.
Yeah,
I don't see the
that's so.
purpose. Like, I don't know, like being in an ex position's shoes where you still have feelings for the ex, why would you ever write it for someone else, knowing you want to be with that person? Did he not
Yeah.
know at that time when he wrote it?
No, I think he was. I think that was part of like him showing how like in love with her he was because he wanted to like give her the chance to actually like fall in love with somebody without an expiration date.
She was already in
But
love
then
with him.
it's like kind of like counterintuitive because it's like obviously he
Yeah.
wants her to fall in love with him, not another man.
I think that is like, I mean, obviously, if it didn't work out that way, we wouldn't have a book to write about it. It would have been boring, but
Yeah,
still was just like, I don't understand.
yeah. That was like a good part of the book though. Like I feel like it was such like a dropped bomb on us, like as a reader. Like I was like, oh, that's like pretty good.
Yeah, because I was kind of like waiting, like, what's gonna happen? Like, if she falls in love with Jake, la di da, like, what is gonna
Yeah.
happen here? And then it
But
was
I
like
feel
the
like at the
part.
end we kind of realized that like her and Hugo are like they had like that like tension and stuff like they were and he was throughout the entire book like we knew that they were going to probably end up together maybe but like
Yeah.
how and like knowing it was that way was kind of crazy.
Yeah. I honestly thought that the heart condition was just gonna take her out.
Okay, I kind of thought that too because one of the other books that Rebecca Searle wrote, the In 5 Years, that one made me cry a lot, and so I thought I was like, is she
Yeah.
gonna make me cry a lot in this book?
Yeah.
Is the ending gonna be really sad? Like you
Yeah. As
know,
soon as I read her heart condition, I told my husband, I was like, this book's gonna, I'm gonna cry. I guess it's gonna be
yeah.
so bad. Like I thought it was gonna go so much differently.
Did he read this book too?
No.
No.
No, I was like in a car driving and I was like, oh my gosh, in an hour
Yeah.
I'm gonna cry or something, I
Oh
was
my
like,
god.
it's gonna get me. Like, cause I read that and I was like, oh man, I'm going down. And then,
Yeah.
oh wow. I was kind of wanting a cry. Like I needed a good cry. I always
Maybe the next book.
I thought that about the women. I was like, oh, I need a good cry. And then it didn't make me cry. And then, I mean, I was sad, but I didn't like, it wasn't like the other ones.
Sob.
Yeah, it wasn't like the other ones. And then this one, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get a good cry. Because sometimes
Yeah.
you just need
I actually
that.
don't. I don't think our next book is going to give you a cry
No,
either.
I
So
don't
you
know.
might just have to
I
keep
like,
it on your own.
I need to like, I don't know, watch like a sad movie or something. I don't know.
Yeah. It'll get you when you least expect it.
Yeah.
All right. The next question. Daphne eventually breaks up with Jake, and after a time spent in Italy working, her and Hugo reconnect and get back together in LA. Do you feel they will stay together? Why or why not? What happens next for them?
I feel like, of course, they have to stay together. We didn't go through all of this for them to break up. Like, I feel like
Exactly.
Destiny's taking a step in, and I would be curious though to see like if she did receive the final note saying he was the one. Like I was kind of hoping for that at the end.
Yeah, like maybe like a in the future or
Yeah.
like whatever they're called at the end of the book.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I feel like it's like goes without saying that they end up together.
Yeah.
It was fate.
Yes.
How did this book compare to Rebecca Searle's other books In 5 Years and One Italian Summer, which we both have read both of those?
Yeah. In 5 years was like we said earlier, like we both cried. Like it was like more emotional than this.
Yeah.
And One Italian Summer, I think, had the potential to be that because like with the death of the mom in One Italian Summer, like I feel like it was kind of had that emotional aspect, but I feel
Yeah.
like they kind of each have had this weird magical element
Hmm.
that isn't properly explained or like just leaves a lot of questions.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like so In 5 Years didn't really have any like magic stuff in it from what I remember, did it?
Didn't she transport in the future 5 years?
Oh, yeah, I think she did. Never
Yeah.
mind. All I remember is like the doctor that they like both um were like in love with and like it was like her best friend had cancer. Like that's like all I really remember from the book.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, I do feel like I like Rebecca Searle's books. Okay, I did not like One Italian Summer.
Me either.
So I cannot remember what episode it was from
The first season, I think.
22.
Yeah.
I think it was when we reviewed Every Last Summer or something.
Okay.
Um, and I talked about it in that episode,
Yeah.
and I was like going off about it.
I know. And then basically what you said, I had to read it. And then I
Yeah.
think the next episode I read it and I was like, I don't want I really still want our moms to read it and discuss it with our moms because it was like it was strange.
Yeah. Was not a fan of that one, but that one also like was executed really confusing for me.
Yeah. But also the mother-daughter relationship was like cringy and not it.
Yeah. I didn't like that one.
It wasn't
Um,
a romance book because she just was in love with her mom,
yeah, that's true.
her dead mother.
This one I definitely really liked. I would say it goes for me. In 5 Years is number one, just because like I remember like really, really liking it when I read it, coming
Yeah.
off of it, like really, really liked it. This book is number two.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was good. And
Mhm.
then One Italian Summer is definitely number three for me.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And like I feel like I liked the way that this one was set up for the most part, aside from us not knowing like what year it was when she would like go back and forth or like the order and stuff like that. But I kind of liked how we like got the ins and outs of like several relationships. Like I enjoyed even like how we got like a whole story about someone who was just one night.
Yeah.
I
I
don't know, it
did.
just like there was like so much like variety and like I liked reading about all the different like relationships and everything. Like I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. I
But yeah.
agree. I like how her writing is like really quick and easily digestible.
Yes. This is definitely like this book isn't gonna change your life.
Mhm.
But I just think it's like it's just a good book. Like, you know, if you want to just like read something real quick, it's short. It was like 250 pages,
Yeah,
I think.
I think so.
Um, it's just good. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I did enjoy it. Yes.
Yeah. I'm not gonna like scream from the rooftops, like go read this book, but
Yeah.
good. Good,
I
good.
wouldn't say it's like the romance book of our decade or anything, but
No, I wouldn't say that either. I think it was just good.
yeah,
Which is why I gave it 4 stars.
yeah,
Just, you know.
same. Yeah, I think same.
Mhm.
Uneven
Didn't
four.
have the punch to give 5 stars, but like I feel weird giving it 3 stars because I liked it
Yeah,
more than like normal,
yeah, I agree with that.
That seems solid. All right, so our book for April, we chose Good Material by Dolly Alderton. And I have not read any of her books yet, so this will be my first one.
Me too. I think. Yeah.
I
I mean,
have so many of her books on my TBR
really?
on Goodreads. Yeah, like I think Ghosts or something is one of them. Everything I Know About Love, I think is one of the name. I might be getting that one wrong, but I have like a few of her books on my TBR. So finally we'll be reading one.
Yes, I'm excited about this one. I know, like when I went to Barnes and Nobles a few months ago, it was like the big showcase in the window.
Was it?
Yeah, so I got really excited about it then.
I feel like it's gonna kind of give actually like same vibes as this as Expiration Dates, where it's like a lot of like young adult like life choices type of novel
Yeah.
and fate.
Great. Yeah, that'll give us a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I thought so too. All right.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next month.
Bye.
Bye.